All right, so we're talking about the second one, the second part, this one. So this one, I said you first start with finding what is in the brackets, which is A union B, and you find A union B. You find A union B. The simplest way to find A union B is by using the number line. So this is what I started here. I first started to put the universal set down there. I first had to put the universal set down, and then from there, I had to put set A, which is just from 1 to 3, open at 1 and closed at 3. And then we also have to put set B there, which is closed on both ends at 2 and at 6. So let us put set B, it's the one that we are putting. So set B is closed at 2, and it is also closed at 6. So this is 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 is somewhere there. So it's also closed at 6. Then we join the two lines. So set B is closed at 2 and also closed at 6. So now to find the universal set, the union of set A and set B, you simply just get the first number and the last number when you combine the two sets, because you know that the union set of two sets is simply just the addition of two sets. So when you combine the two sets, you just get the first number and the last number. So the first number here is 1, and it's open at 1. So you open it even there. Then you say comma. The last number here is 6, and it's closed at 6. You close it there. So now they are asking us, this is not the answer they want us to find. They want us to find A union B complement. So now let us find the complement of this set. So the complement of this set will simply just be, let me just write it here. So A union B complement will now be equal to, we start from this now. So we can put this again, if you want to find the complement of this. Okay, in short, if you just want to solve these intervals without having challenges, you should be using number lines. I advise that. So these number lines you're using, if you want, you can draw them there. The marker is even seen where you're getting the answers. If you want, you can draw them on a separate paper. It's still fine. And then for the complement of this set now, we found 1,6 as our A union B. The complement of this set is going to start from 0, and of course it's going to be closed at 0. Okay, let me just erase these to my lines, okay? Yeah, so it's going to start from 0, it's closed at 0, and then we say comma, and then it's going to end at 1. So at 1, we know that 1 is not part of A union B, meaning it's going to be in the complement. So we close there, and then we say this is going to be union. And then since 6 is part of the union set, it's part of this set, 6 is part of this set, meaning it's not going to be in the complement. So instead of using the closed bracket at 6, we're going to open at 6. Then we say comma, and then this is going to be 10 there. The last number is 10. So we can write 10 there. Okay, so we can write 10, and then it is closed at 10. So this is the answer that they wanted. So now to represent this on the number line, we can just draw it down here. And then this is the final answer they want. This is the final number line that they want, which is just, okay, I'm sure you can put in the numbers. For the sake of time, let me just be putting the numbers which are in the brackets. But for you, when you're doing it, make sure that you show all the numbers, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Unless you're dealing with big numbers, that's when you can be skipping some numbers. But if the numbers are very small to be shown on the number line, you can just show all of them. So here, let me just put the numbers which are needed there. We have 0, 1, 6, and 10. So we have 0, we have 1, we have 6, and then we have 10. So this number line will simply just be closed at 0 and 1, closed at 0 and 1. So we join those two. and then it's going to be open at 6 and closed at 10. Open at 6 and closed at 10. So you make sure that you show that this is A union B complement. This is A union B and then complement. And so that is basically how you do everything. So we are done with this question. Let us now move on to part 3. So I don't know if you have questions on this one before we move to part 3. Okay, so it seems that there are no questions. All right, so B minus C. So B minus C, we all know to say B minus C. B minus C is simply just the same as B intersection C complement. Okay, B minus C is simply just the same as B intersection C complement. So B intersection C complement is the same as B minus C. So what we're finding is simply just B intersection C complement. Okay, so let us find this. So our B has been given to, so our B, set B is simply just equal to 2,6. This is set B. And then C complement, let me write it here. We found it. So C complement is simply just, C complement is simply just, we said it's from 0 to 3. From 0 to 3, and then it will be closed at 3 union, and then from 0 to, from 6 to 10. So it will be closed at 6 and closed at 10. Okay, so this is our C complement. Then they want us to find the union set between B and C. So these two sets, meaning we combine the two sets. So how can we combine the two sets? So the best way to solve this, you use the number line. If you can't see the answer just by looking at them, you can just simply use the number line. So on the number line, we have, like I said, let me just be going direct. I will just be putting the numbers which are important, which I'm seeing in the questions. But for you, since numbers from 0 to 10 are just a few numbers, you can just write all of them. So we have the smallest number we have is 0, and then followed by 2, 3, 6, 10. So we have 0, 2, 3, then we have 6, and then we have 10 there. So let us put the sets. So we have B is from 2 to 6, from 2 to 6, and it's closed on both ends, 2 to 6. This is our B, and then this is set B. And then we have C complement, which is first from 0 to 3, from 0, let me just write it under there, from 0 to 3, and it's also closed on both ends. And then it also, so this is C complement, and then we also, it also starts from 6 to 10. From 6 to 10, it's also closed on both ends, 6 to 10. So it's also closed on both ends. So let me just write it properly. Okay. Okay, I don't know where these lines are coming from. Okay. All right, so this is also part of C complement. Part of C complement. Okay, so now they want us to find the intersection set between B and C complement. So the intersection we said the common elements. So this is now simple because we're on the number line where we can see that there are lines which are joining, or there are lines which are common in the set. So this one, the one down here is C complement. Even this one, this side is C complement. So these parts where the lines for B and C complement are meeting. So these parts are the ones that we get as the intersection. For the union, you just get the first number and the last number. If there is no, if it's not disjointed in between, if it's a continuous set, if it's continuing, yeah. Okay, I'll explain that if we have a question there. If there will be no question, remind me to explain what I've just said. Okay, so for the intersection set, you just get the common part. So this one is common, this part is common, even that part is common. So we can write our answer here. So the answer for B minus C complement. So B minus C complement, we said it's just the same as B intersection. It's just the same as B intersection C. Oh, sorry, B minus C is just the same as B intersection C complement. So which can also be written as, we just get the shaded part. So the shaded region is from 2 to 3. So from 2, it's closed at 2, it's also closed at 3. Closed at 2, it's also closed at 3. And then addition of two sets is union. And then we have this one is just a point, it's a number, it's just a number, it's alone. Yeah, it's not a range. So it's just a number. Since it's alone, we don't use these brackets. We simply use this one, these types of brackets. So you write our 6 there. So this is simply the answer. Okay, so let's quickly move on to the next question. I don't know if you have any question about this one.
I just wanted you to repeat what you've just explained to us.
On which part exactly?
The last part, why we are using that and not the brackets where you have 2 and 3.
Okay, the reason why we're using this is because it's a singleton set. It's a singleton set, it only consists of one element. Yeah, it only has one element. It's a point. If it had 2 or more elements, would have more elements would have used these kinds of brackets. If it was a range, for instance, this one is a range from 2 to 3, but this one is just 6. There's a dot on 6 on for C complement. There's also a dot on top for C complement. Yeah, I don't know if you have gotten the point. So this one is a singleton. It only has one element here at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, so if maybe, let me give an example. If it went to something like, if this line proceeded to maybe somewhere here, and then if, for instance, we had 8 there, this wouldn't have been written like this, would have written something like this. So it would have been from 6 to 8, meaning it would have been closed at 6 and 8 closed there as well. But since it's just a point, we just say, let me write it properly. We just say, this is just a point, we just write 6 alone there. Like that. So let's proceed. Let's go on the 4th part. This one. So this one will be simple because of what we have done here. So I'll just do it very quick. Okay, so this one, A intersection B complement. So the first thing that we do is to find the intersection set between A and B. So the intersection set to find A, okay, the question is A intersection B complements. So we can't find this before finding what is in the brackets. So first, let's find A intersection B. So A intersection B can easily be found using a number line, like I said. So this can easily be found using a number line. So on the number line here, I'll just put important numbers. Let me put my set A there. My set A is from 1 to 3. And then my set B is from 2 to 6. From 2 to 6. So my B is shaded on both ends. And then my A is open at 1 and then closed at 3. So now to find the intersection set, the intersection is simply the common elements. We're talking about the common elements. So this part is the intersection. So A intersection B is from 2 to 3. And then from 2 to 3, on 2 it's closed and on 3 it's also closed. So it is going to be closed on both ends, 2 and 3. That is the intersection. So now to find the complement of this intersection, we consider the universal set. Then the universal set is ending at 10. Okay, so the universal set is starting from 0 and ending at 10. So to find the complement of this set, we now just say to find the complement of this set, this will now just be, let me just put it properly. Let me put the equal signs properly there. So the complements, the complement of this set will just be from 0, because that's where I was starting from in the universal set, and then up to 2. But since 2 is part of set A intersection B, it means that it's not going to be part of the universal set. So use that kind of a bracket. It's not going to be part of the complement set. So use this type of a bracket. So we add the sets because we know there are 2. There's also another one which is starting from 3. And since 3 is part of A intersection B, it means that it will not be part of the complement. So we use this kind of a bracket, and then we say comma, will end at the universal set. So this one was straightforward. So putting this on the number line is also straightforward. I'll just get the important numbers as well. We have 1, we have 2 there, we have 3, then we have 10 there. So shaded at 2. So this one was my A. It's very important to show the letters. This one was my A. Then this one is B. Okay, so here we have 2 to 0 to 2. So it's open at 2 and closed at 0. So, and then the other one is starting from 3, open at 3 and closed at 10. So we join them. And then we write on top, this is A intersection B, complement. This is also A intersection B, complement. So that is basically how you solve this. Okay, so let us quickly move on to the second last. Hope we don't have questions here. Okay, so the second last one is A intersection, open brackets, B minus C. So this one can also be written as A intersection. While there is B minus C, we can just put B intersection C complement. We know that B minus C is just the same as B intersection C complement. But since I've erased this, I'm sure you people have you are able to remember that we once found this. It's there. Yeah, once found this. So I'm sure you can do it on your own, because you just have to put your answer, the answer that we got here, you put it on the number line, you also put A on the number line, and then you find the intersection set between the answer that we found here and A. The common part is the one that you write as your answer. Yeah, the one that is going to be common. So let us let us move on to the last question. So the last question is simply just X. Okay.
Sir.
Yes.
I was of the idea that we should just do it.
We should just do it.
Sir, please can you do it for us? You know, as students, you will not manage such, so just do it for us.
All right. Okay, so let me just do it then. Okay, just someone to just give me the answers that we found on B minus C. This one, if there's anyone who was writing, someone to just give me the answer that we found here.
So B minus C.
Yes.
We found closed bracket.
Okay.
2,3.
Okay.
Closed bracket.
Okay.
Union.
Mm-hmm.
Then the singleton 6.
Okay. All right. So let us now find the common elements between this same A minus B and A. So the A, A set A that we have is there. So let us write them on the number line. So this number line is not the final answer. This one is just there for finding the solution. So we put A on the number line. A is simply just ranging from 1 to 3. So A is from 1 to 3. So it's open at 1 and it's closed at 3. So this is our A. And then our B minus C is starting from 2. So there's 2 there. And then it's closed at that 2. And then it's closed at 3 as well. It's closed at 3. Then there's also another part which is just 6. So 6 there, it's just a dot like that. So now they're asking us to find the intersection set between B minus C. B minus C is simply just this part here. B minus C is simply just this part, and then our A is down here. So to find the common element between A and B minus C, we simply just get what is common there, where the two sets are meeting, which is just that part. Yeah, so the answer here, you just get the shaded part here, which is just from 2 to 3. And it's closed at 2, it's also closed at 3. So this is what we're going to have. Meaning it's going to be closed at 2 and also closed at 3. So that is going to be the answer. Yeah, so I don't know if you have questions on this one before we go to the last question. Okay, so let us proceed. So this one is X minus C complement and then intersection A minus B. So X minus C complement intersection A minus B. So X minus C complement, we can first start by finding X minus C. So X, we know that X minus C is simply just X intersection C complement. But remember, our X is simply just the, so our X is simply just the universal set here. So X is simply just the universal set. So when you say the universal set intersection C complement, the answer will just give us that same letter. I mean that same set. Remember those rules that we looked at. We said the universal set intersection A. This is just A. The universal set union A, the answer is the universal set. So in this case, our universal set, X is simply just the universal set. So when you say universal set intersection C complement, the answer would just be C complement. So the first part there, this first part here will just give us, so this first part will just give us, oh, sorry, I didn't see that the complement is outside. All right, so let me just repeat the explanation. I didn't see that the complement is outside. I thought it was on C. So if they say X minus C, okay, still fine. Yeah, what I was explaining is still fine. Yeah, so X minus C is simply just X intersection C complement. So we found that X intersection C complement is just the same as C complement. So on this part where there's X minus C, we can just put C complement, and then in brackets, there's also another complement inside there. And then we open the brackets, we have A minus B. A minus B is just the same as A intersection B complement. So A minus B is just the same as A intersection B complement. Yeah, so let me just use the normal brackets. Okay, so we're saying A minus B is just the same as A intersection B complement. And then X minus C gave us C complement according to what we found here. And then a complement, when you open a complement and you multiply it with another complement, the answer will just be that letter. So if you have A, you might remember what we said, if you have A complement on the rules of complements, if you have something like this, the answer is just S. If you have A intersection B and then everything there complement outside, this is De Morgan's rule, it's just A complement union B complement. Then if you have something like this, if you have for instance something like this, A complement intersection B and then another complement there. So complement and complement there will just give you A, it will cancel, and then the symbol there will change according to De Morgan's rule. And then this complement will also be on B when you distribute it there. But when you distribute it on A, since A already has another complement, it means that it's going to cancel. That's why A has just remained without a complement. So this was just a revision. So before I erase, let us first deal with this one. So this one here, C complement and that other complement there, the answer will just be C. And then you say intersection. So open brackets, you have A intersection B complement there. So our duty is now just to find A intersection B complement, and then we come and intersect it with C. Okay. So our duty is just to find A intersection B complement, and then we come and intersect it with C. So let us find what is in the brackets here, A intersection B complement. So the first thing that we have to find, before we find A intersection B complement is B complement. So before we find A intersection B complement, we first have to find B complement. So first have to find B complement. So B complement, looking at the universal set, is starting from 0 to 10. And then B complement will start from 0 up to 2. To start from 0 to be closed according to the universal set up to 2. Since 2 is part of B, meaning it's not going to be part of the universal set, and then we say union. And then we start from 6. 6 will not be part of the universal set because, it's not going to be part of the complement set because it's part of B. And then we say comma 10, close. And then, so this is our B complement. So we combine A with B complement. So A is starting from 1 to 3. So A is starting from 1 to 3. So to find our A intersection B complement, let me just write it properly. So this is B. Okay, this one is B, and then complement there. So our A intersection B complement will now be, because we know that A is starting from 1 to 3, so you can draw a first number line. Our A is from 1 to 3, it's closed there, and then our B complement is from 0 to 2, from 0 to 2, this is 1, this is 3, and then from 0 to 2, from 0 to 2, from 0, it's closed at 0, and then up to 2 is, and then there at 2 it's open. So we combine the 2, and then this one was our A, and then this one is B complement. B complement is also starting from 6 to 10. Then it's open at 6 and closed at 10. So here now we find the common part. So the common part is simply just this region here, because we are looking for the intersection. So we find the common part, which is just this region here. So the common part for A, I mean the answer for A intersection B complement is simply just from 1. At 1 it's open, so we're going to open it at 1, comma, and then at 3 it's both closed and open. So what do you get when you discover that you have both closed and open at the same point? You get open. The reason is simple. You're looking for the common elements. You're not looking for, you're not listing the universal set. The union set. If it was the union, would have gotten the closed one. But for the intersection, you get the one that is open. So you get 3. You get 3, but it's going to be open, not closed. So here now we're finding C. We're finding C intersection. The answer that we've gotten here is 1, comma. The answer that we've gotten there is simply just 1, comma 3. That is the answer that we've gotten. Okay. So from there, we can now find our answer. So we now find C intersection 1, comma 3. So C, our C, let us put our C there. So our C is simply just 3, comma 6. So our C is simply just, so we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there. So our C is simply just 3, comma 6. It's open on both ends. So open at 3, open at 6. And then our the other set, which is A intersection B complement, is simply just 1, comma 3. 1, comma 3 is open on both ends, 1 and 3. So it's open on both ends. So here we're trying to look for the for the common elements between C and this set which we found. So what is the common element here? So we know that the common element would have been 3, but because 3 is not part of set, it's not part of set C. Oh, sorry, this is not C. So we know that 3 is not part of set. Is not part of set C, which is from 3 to 6. 3 is also not part of this set. Yeah, it's open at 3. So meaning it's not part of A intersection B complement. So this is our A intersection B complement. So the answer for this one here will simply just be an empty set, because the point which was supposed to be common here, the point that was supposed to be common between these two sets is not part of any of the sets. Yeah, because you can see that 3 here is not part of A intersection B complement. It's also not part of C, meaning it's an empty set. The answer is an empty set. So you can either show it by this symbol or just by writing this. Yeah, so do we have any questions? Okay, so if we don't
Perfect.
have any questions, then we call it a day. We call it a day. I'm going to send the recordings. Yeah, I'm going to send the recordings immediately after the lesson. Thank you very much for your attention. See you.
Twalumba.
I am a
Thank
very,
you.
Thank you.
I'm not Tonga,
Thank
though
you.
I really, I just understand Tonga partly.
It's good you understand.
Yes,
One Zambia, one nation.
yes.
Don't worry, you
All right.
learn it.
Thank you very much. See you next
Thank
time.
you. We'll meet on Friday.
Thank you.
Then, sir, should we send you the assignment you are given?
Yes, if they have sent you the assignment, you can forward it.
Yes, please, our class rep, please kindly forward the assignment so next lecture. How attend.
Is there an assignment?
To my exercise, to my task, I mean.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
And for this, excuse me, and for this, we don't have any exercise.
I'm going to send,
There are those.
don't worry.
Okay.
I'll be sending an exercise for every lesson that we have.
All right. All right.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. And bye-bye.